here at this event today. Congratulations to all our champions once again. This promises to be a very exciting session. We have several heavyweights on the panel, and it's my pleasure to introduce them. So I would just call their names and just give a brief overview of their bio. And then please, as I call you, please take the stage. So first, I would like to welcome Mr. Fanokwe James. He's the Deputy Director, Training Manager, Industrial Skills Training Center. Please give him a round of applause. Okay. We also have Mrs. Ronke Aziz. She's the former Executive Secretary, Lagos Technical and Vocational Education Board. We have Mrs. Shola Babatunde, the Principal Consultant and Creative Director, One Stop Celebration. We have Engineer Olawumi Gaspar, the President, Universal Learn Direct Academy. Engineer Igboan Okaisabo, the CEO of Construction Kaiser Limited. Please put your hands together for this distinguished panel. So yes, today we're here to talk about vocational education in Nigeria. And why is this important, right? Why do we have all these heavyweights on stage to discuss this topic? So TVET training in Nigeria is important for several reasons. Firstly, it is an effective way to help people learn practical skills that can make them more employable. This is crucial because there are many people without jobs in Nigeria, as you know. Secondly, it produces skilled workers that can help grow the economy and develop industries. Thirdly, it reduces the gap between the skills people have and the skills that employers need. This creates a more efficient workforce. And lastly, it provides opportunities for people from different backgrounds to improve their lives and participate in the country's development. So with that context, we're just going straight into the discussions. We have about 1 hour for this. So we'll spend the first maybe 40 minutes going through several questions that we prepared, but then we'll open it up to the audience. So if you do have any questions, just feel free to write them down on a piece of paper and we'll go around and take your questions. Okay, so let's begin. Maybe we should start with you, Engineer Gaspar, if you don't mind. Maybe could you start by just giving a very quick overview of what ULDA does? And then after that, could you speak quickly about what are some of the biggest challenges that social enterprises, NGOs face in running TVET initiatives in Nigeria? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let me first and foremost congratulate the graduates today. Congratulate the champions. Congratulate the next generation of billionaires. And I have my reason for calling you billionaires. Because I'm a Yoruba man. And the Yoruba man says, your palm does not do what? Thank you very much. You can say it in India, or say it in Singapore, or say it in Malay, or say it in Indonesia, so that our partners and sponsors will understand. You've taken the right route, and I want to assure you, you will not regret it. Now, for us in ULDA, it's more of us giving back to the society. Nigerians from the diaspora, successful entrepreneurs, sat down one day to say, look, there's a decay, we'll go past through communities, we see Nigerian youth waking up early in the morning, not getting engaged and all that. We also saw the huge gap in the construction sector in terms of supply. Not only supply, but quality. We also have a complaint of faulty infrastructure, faulty buildings, claddings going here and there. And we decided, let's try and fix this. And we came up with ULDA. And the idea for us in ULDA is for you to graduate in ULDA, you must have been part of putting a building into shape. Non-negotiable. It's not for you to just move into the classroom, get through measurements, get through basic surveying, get through estimating, get through your masonry, carpentry, and all that. You must be part of it. So the other end of it is very, very crucial to us, and we're highly on focus in that regard. And we've used that opportunity to deliver several estates and put up several structures using our training. But let me also say here, so that I can, I'm a talker, so a teacher talks a lot, so that I won't spend most of the time. Now, something significant that you mentioned, and that's the role of the NGOs and
Social enterprises.
social enterprises. Again, a huge congratulations to ITF, not Industrial Training Fund this time, Tolerance Foundation. I must say big congratulations and a lot of appreciation here. For you, Tolerance, you will not appreciate this little seed that you're sowing today. In the next 10, 15 years, I bet you'll pick up your handkerchief from your pocket and wipe tears of joy. When you start seeing class of 2022, class of 2023 doing great things in this country. Now, I want to challenge other social enterprise organizations, NGOs, and all that to say, let us please stop the entitlement mentality with our youth. We must have a major mindset shift. Our youth believe because they have a degree, because they have a diploma, the grass is green. And it is not so. I'm happy the MC told you it might be a little bit comical. It's little drops of water. You don't just say because I have a certificate, I have a degree, I have an MSc, and government must do something. I'm entitled, and I must enjoy the benefits of government, or what you call the dividends of democracy of government. Please let us have that mindset shift. You are the government, and that was why initially I said you are automatic billionaires. My Indian friend living in Ilupeju told me some 10 years ago that Nigerians will never see the gold lined up on the streets of Lagos. What he was referring to was the opportunities. Too many opportunities, just too many. I'm not against economic migration. Please don't rule me out. I support economic migration as much as possible because you're coming back to add value to whatever we're doing here, and you're coming back to improve whatever we're doing here. But what I'm even trying to say is, for those of us who are not opportune to migrate, get into, most of you will say you have MSc International Marketing, MSc International Management. If you have an MSc in marketing, if you have a first degree in marketing, if you have a first degree in business admin, and you cannot look at the furniture cluster along Ikorodu Road, the furniture cluster between Owode Onirin and Ikorodu. For those of you who live around Ikorodu, you would have seen what is happening around that corridor. And you cannot bring in your digital experience, your soft skills experience, your website research, or your website design, and add value to what those guys are doing and make money out of it. You cannot see what is happening in Ladipo market. Bring in your digital skills. Bring in content creation. Add value to what they're doing. Owode Onirin, Pantika market in Kaduna, Ariara market in Aba. Please, let us forget about this government thing. It's never worked anywhere. For us, I'm sorry to say, I'm not a pessimist, but for Nigerian youth, I sing this song always. It is only you, 65-70% of this country, that can create changes. These opportunities are there. We see it. For those of you who have done construction, you have seen in your construction class or your construction group a brilliant student in carpentry, a brilliant student in masonry, a brilliant student in masonry, a brilliant student in renewable energy. Why don't you come together and form a small business that will grow, get into estates, get into resident association, and start giving quality service to residents. Don't say because I've done plumbing, I've done masonry, it's a standalone. You cannot be a standalone beginning. So our social enterprises, please, please and please, again, there are a lot of grants. There are a lot of grants there for social enterprises, for NGOs that can tweet so many of you, handshake you, make you to create values and change your life. That's what I'll say for now.
Thank
That's
you,
my
sir.
opening.
Yeah, very, very well said. So, essentially, Engineer Gaspar has touched on, the need for the youth to challenge themselves to be entrepreneurial, right, and to seek out opportunities in the country and leverage on them. I know that there are probably some people in the audience thinking, well, I'm not set out to be an entrepreneur. I want to work in a company. I want to learn on the job. I want a career progression. I want stable income. So maybe I'll just come to you, Engineer Kaisabo, right? You're wearing two hats today. So you're wearing the hat of Kaiser Limited, but then you also run a foundation. And so I think this question is perfect for you. So first, of course, I would like you to speak very quickly about what your organization does and how it contributes in this space. But it's often the responsibility of training providers to guarantee jobs, right, for beneficiaries. Is this something that you think is sustainable? And what role would you say that other players, including governments, should be playing in this regard?
Thank you very much. Again, my congratulations to all of you graduates here. So can I just see by a show of hands, who are those in construction? Let me see you. Woo! Great. Well, many. I'm excited. So I see people coming into the workspace. I'd like to see you. I'd like to see more of you. So, ORA, thank you very much for the question. As organizations, okay, so let me introduce myself a bit. Apart from being the CEO of Construction Kaiser, by the way, we just turned 30 this year, and we're a pure indigenous construction company. So I will say a few things, not because I want to brag, but I want to give you ammunition to be able to face this life that you are going to. I started my business in my living room in Port Harcourt in 1993. I was living upstairs. I started with my office downstairs with 4 employees and my 504 car, putting cement in my boot. We grew this company that you are seeing today that's employing people around the country. So can you do it? Of course you can. I just want to let you know that once you have the passion, the dedication, and the quest to create value, you can be anything you want. And as I grow old and I become 90 years old, I want to look back and see you running your own businesses the way I have grown mine. Now, so back to the question. And secondly, I also run Kaiser Foundation, which we started 7 years ago. And I think companies need to learn to create value as businesses, so seek economic value while creating social impact. That's just so important. Because, I mean, each Toleram, I know Toleram, I don't think they do construction. They are doing this because they want a better society. And they are investing in the construction industry so that the society will be better. And I was just thanking her just now. I said, what you're doing for the community is helping to create value in our sector. So I thank you again. Thank you so much. I don't think we are doing enough as companies. I can tell you that in our foundation, we have the summer camp that we do for children. We have the soft skills training, which we do, that has gone international. We have people from 37 countries attending, thousands of people. We have the graduate entrepreneurship scheme. We have the mentorship scheme. We have the scholarship scheme we do for students. All that is trying to develop the sector so that we can grow this country that is ours. So we need workers. We need people all the time. We could scale up better if we have more qualified staff, employees, or even vendors who have small businesses that will help us plug into our construction value chain so that I don't have to worry about my site. I know that the site is being taken care of by competent people. And then I can go on and be looking for the next project. So we need you to start your small businesses and come into the company and do our plastering, do our masonry work, do our plumbing. I was telling somebody yesterday, I said, the biggest problems we have in our homes are plumbing and electrical. If you have a leakage in your bathroom, you cannot sleep. My house has been flooded a few times. You wake up in the night, the whole ground floor is full of water. Or you are having sparks, you are having shocks. You can't stay. So an electrician or a plumber can make a lot of money, can create value once they just do the right thing. Excellence. Strive for excellence. Have soft skills. Know how to market your services. Let people see the value in the services that you offer. Act with integrity, and then you will see, things coming together for you. Now, talking about government, I feel that government should partner with town and gown to create value. Now, what do I mean by that? Owari was telling me this morning, asking, when are we ready to take the new set? Because we've partnered with Lagos State government, we've trained artisans in the past, we've worked with GIZ, with returnees who come from Europe, but it costs money. And at this difficult time, when there's no money in the country, the first thing you do is to cut off those things you are doing for free because you are looking for survival. Now, if government works together with the schools to make sure that they have the right curriculum, to make sure that what they are learning in school is aligned with what the industry needs, and then the government also should make sure that these construction companies that are helping to train these people are also busy working. Once they are working and they have a good pipeline of jobs, then they can take these interns and help to train them. Because no matter what they learn in the classroom, if they come out and they don't get practical training, they can't go anywhere. So that practical training is so important. Now, talking about mentorship and coaching, as organizations, we need to mentor these people. So at Kaiser Foundation, we have the Graduate Entrepreneurship Scheme, where we sent about 38 people to Lagos Business School to learn entrepreneurship. And then they came out. We kept 12 of them in our company for 1 year, moving from department to department. Finance, HR, marketing, quality control, site. They went around, they just graduated in June. And I can tell you they're ready to fly. So organizations need to do more. More organizations need to work together, come together, and grow these entrepreneurs, and also with government's help, so that entrepreneurs can hire people, because they said mind the middle. Small and medium-sized companies are the ones that grow any economy. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. All right, Ms. Babatune, let me come to you, right? I want to ask you the same question. So I know you run an NGO as well. We'll be very curious to know what One Stop Celebration does. Yes. And then how challenging has it been to place people, right, in jobs? What do you wish was different?
All right. Hello, everyone. Congratulations to all the graduates. I want to ask one question before I answer you. Is there anyone that's naked here? I said, is there anyone that's naked here? So everyone is fully dressed. All right. So if you finished from fashion, please put up your hands. Big shout out. Woo! We are the ones that clothe all of you. I just had to do that.
We are grateful. Thank you.
All right. So it has actually been very easy to place people because we have a waiting list. Our curriculum is industry based. We made sure that it's exactly what the employer that's eventually going to employ these people and pay them the amount we want them to be paid. So it's what they need that we teach the students. So for example, we had done like a little get together with the employers where we found out what was the gap in the industry. So they have said, oh, we don't have pattern makers, we don't have supervisors. To our pleasant surprise, it was actually middle to high level management that they all wanted. So tailors, you can always get tailors everywhere. We don't even call our graduates tailors. We don't teach tailors. We don't train, tailors. We teach you to be business minded. So you can actually run or start a company. Also, we don't say you have to always go and open your own. It's a cliche that Nigerians tend to tell everybody, oh, finish a business, go and open your own. And they just give one machine, the person is in her house or his house doing tailoring. It's not sustainable. You can't see them become a Zara or a Nike or a Gap tomorrow. So it's not everyone that's meant to open a company. So because of that knowledge, we train them to know that you can be part of a company and there's a career path you can. So from an SMO, you can become a director tomorrow from the way we train. So because of that, it's been very easy. We have a waiting list, those who want to employ our students. And we have students who earn as high as 200,000 just from the 3-month course, 150, 100K. The minimum that they've ever been paid, I think, is 30,000 naira, which is the minimum level. So it's amazing that with a 3-month course, you have the opportunity to earn at least an average of 100,000 naira, depending on how you now apply yourself. So it's been easy. I hope I answered your question.
Yes. Well done. Thank you. So, fashion students, I guess you have nothing to worry about. You guys appear to be in very high demand. And if you're not affiliated with OSC, maybe after this panel discussion, you can try and correct that. Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Babatune. So I guess one of the things you said that's responsible for your success is your ability to align your curriculum with what industry needs, right? So that's extremely important. So Mr. James, I just want to come to you, sir, right? And I guess you'll probably be able to speak for, the Industrial Skills Training Center, maybe the ITF, yeah. We kind of just want to know, I mean, there's always been talk about the need for government initiatives to align with industry needs, right, in order to drive real impact. In your opinion, how successful have we been as a country in doing this, right? And what can still be done to improve in this area?
Thank you very much, moderator. Once again, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We cannot congratulate you enough. I'm sure everybody will want to congratulate you today because today is supposed to be a very big day in our lives. Is that not so? And to further congratulate you, let me quickly bring the felicitation of my Director General Chief Executive, who would have loved to be here himself. But like we say, because of so many other engagements, he could not make it here to Lagos. Our head office is in Jos, and so since I'm the head of the office here in Lagos, he quickly just delegated the assignment for me to do on his behalf. So once again, I bring his felicitations to you. Congratulations. Hello, are we here? Okay, thank you. Yes, the ITF is a government organization that has been in existence now for the past 52, going to 53 years. It will interest you to know that all we do is train and retrain people. But alongside, we also carry out so many functions for the federal government of Nigeria. And what are those functions? As it concerns us, we carry out the function of carrying out and implementing intervention programs that can help reduce unemployment in Nigeria. We have so many of such programs that are free. Free. And not just free, but that we go with startup packs. Just because we, in the government, sees it as a way of reducing unemployment or underemployment. In the ITF, we have this slogan, so to say. Because I heard the skill training center, all we do there is hands-on. Hands-on, not just soft skill of management, whatever. No, we have all the skills there at my center. I will always encourage you to put to use, and I'm putting this out to you now, to please put to use whatever skill you have acquired. Hello, are we here? Please note it. If there's one thing you are going to take away from here, let it be that you must constantly put to use that skill you must have acquired. The new currency now in town is what? Is what? If you know it, say it loudly. It's skills. Please, a round of applause for him. Hello, please applaud him, applaud him. The new currency in town now is what? Is skills. You can hear from time to time, let us diversify from oil, from gas. What are we diversifying to? It's not just agriculture, but skills. And funny enough, if you are with me, when the MC was trying to crack some very, very interesting and educative joke in the morning, he was mentioning countries where people will want to quote and unquote jackpot. Is that not so? What is the first skill you need to go out with? It's skills. Nobody is waiting for you to come and bring your MSc or doctorate degree program. No, 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 no. What can you do? At my center, you see young guys come here for modular training programs, and you interview them. Okay, you are a graduate, yes. Why do you need modular training program for 6 months in electrical, for example? Sister, I'm planning to get out of this country. And so I want to arm myself with a skill. It's what? It portrays the essence of what? Skills. And let us be truthful here. I think I'm answering your questions, but I'm trying to buttress it. The government have come to understand and know the essence of skills. That's why we do so many skills training programs, and we give you a startup pack so that you can start with something. They say start small and grow big. Is that also? You must have heard that before, right? So how do you start small and grow big? That is why we give startup packs. It's called startup packs. And honestly speaking, let's be factual here. You could have a BSc certificate, is that also? You could even have an MSc certificate. And you look at it every day. And the certificate will stare back at you. But if you have a skill, and you practice it, even on a small scale, you can never go hungry. Is that not so? So we are not saying certificate is not good. but please back it up with a skill. And that's why I want to congratulate you once again for I found it very, very useful and worthy to have enrolled for this program. And for the Talaram group, please thank you once again for complimenting the effort of the government. We are very proud of you, and we hope you will sustain this initiative. The government is very, very happy. My teacher personally wants to know and to relate with you further, but I'm going to take the message to him because he's always very excited when he sees organizations that are doing or complementing the effort of the government. And for you to have taken this up, we want to say thank you very much, and we hope that there will be more working relationship with you and with many of these federal government or even state government organizations. Thank you very much. This is just for the
Yes,
beginning.
thank you, sir,
Yeah.
for that. If you don't mind, I just want to stay on you just for a second longer. So I guess the ITF is in a very unique position, right? Because you have an opportunity to impact so many lives through government. So I just want to get a sense of practical ways that you have partnered with companies, organizations to ensure that alignment between the trainings that you provide and job placement.
Yes. Thank you once again. Uh, as I speak with you now, I have the director of projects, NECA. They are very close here. Somebody can go to my office and check this part. We have a program that is in collaboration with the private sector, which is called the Technical Skill Development Project. It's a project and it's done in collaboration with the private sector. We have nothing less than 70 spread across the country. We train these trainees and in fact, there are lists. I think I even came with one. Nigales. There are requests from companies that want trainees that have graduated from our training programs that they want to employ. So we train them free and we link them up to organizations that need their skills. Because so many organizations have come to know us, they write us and request for trainees of the TSDP or trainees of the ITF modular training programs. And so, in this sense, the programs are free. We call them intervention program on behalf of the federal government. And we also just don't train you and leave you. We equip you with the entrepreneurial skills. So if you want to be on your own, fine. And like my colleague here said, you may not necessarily have to be on your own from day one. You can get a job. And we also link you up with those industries that need your skills. They know us. We have been existent for the past 52, 53 years, like I said earlier. And so ITF is a household name in Nigeria. Aside from the fact that, let's take it even to our institutions, there's a program we also called CWAs. For those of us that are graduates here, you know what I mean by CWAs, Student Industrial Work Experience Scheme. ITF is also championing the implementation of that program for government. What does that scheme stand for? Why in school, maybe 200 level, 300 level, you come out, we attach you to a company to gain the practical experience for 4 months for polytechnics and 6 months for universities. So you go back and complete your education. You'll be exposed to the machines and the tools we use in big companies. Some not advertised for companies there. And you go back. And if you have done well, those companies are ready and willing to wait for you to come back and join their workforce because they know you already understand their mode of what? Operation. So the government is doing its very best, but because of the population, you agree with me that it's not going to be very easy to fix almost everybody that is unemployed or that are considered to be what? Underemployed. But we have links with these organizations to go straight to the answer. We have links to these big companies that request for graduates, most especially those ones that are well skilled. They will still put you up for interview. They test you. So it's not just going to be because you train with ITF, just come and take this employment. No. Like I speak with you, I forgot, I thought I came with it. Ningales, they wrote us, they requested for people, and we sent to them, and they are going to still interview them, and they will give them the job because ITF has trained them. That's the bottom line. Because ITF has trained them, and so many organizations like that. And even with NECA, NECA is the umbrella body for what? Every private enterprise in Nigeria. Is that not so? Because you have gone through this program, which is 4 months hands-on, 2 month attachment, you find out that most times those of us that go for attachment get a job almost automatically. Because NECA will talk to their association members, we will post those trainees there, and most times, except you want to opt out, they get retained. So the government is trying its best. ITF is working for the federal government of Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So I hope the young people in the room are listening. There are several opportunities.
I hope you are listening. Are you with us here? Okay.
Yeah, several opportunities in the public sector to plug into as well. So thank you so much for that clarification, Mr. James. So Ishk Tolerant Foundation has done a great job in preparing a lot of you over the past 6 months for employment. As you know, the initiative has been privately funded. There are lots of youth, including some of you in this room today, that have gone through public education as well, right? And you've been trained through public TVET facilitators at some point in your life. So the question I wanted to just bring to you, Mrs. Aziz, is just around the quality of public TVET trainers, right? You can speak specifically to Lagos if you want, but then also just in general in terms of the country, Nigeria. Public TVET trainers are often perceived to lack the skills and exposure required to prepare students for the job market. So what steps have the government taken, right, to address this issue in recent times? Where are we today? What still needs to be done?
So, good afternoon, everyone. And I would also like to congratulate everybody for your success today, and also to congratulate Ishk Tolerant as well for all the hard work that you have been doing to train over 500 graduates today. You've asked me the question, and the question really boils down to around, in terms of the public sector trainers or teachers, that there is a perception that in government they are low skilled. So I need to say once and for all that this is a misnomer. And the reason why it's a misnomer is because to be able to get into the government to become a trainer, it means that there are certain qualifications that you must have. And so the minimum that you can have for, at least for the technical and vocational, would be a minimum of a graduate with that specific skill area. So, and apart from that, and I'll let you know, and I'll give you a specific example regarding the Lagos State Technical and Vocational Education Board, which I work. In fact, I think I need to take a step back a bit so that you understand the context that I am coming from. So like I said, my name is Moronke Aziz, and I used to work just until recently for the Lagos State Technical and Vocational Education Board. And every year we train over 8,000 students in terms of vocational and technical skills. So we are one of the largest providers of technical and vocational education. We carry out probably over 13 to 15 trades, in whether it's engineering, whether it's construction, whether it's the creative, business, computer, ICT, and so on. So what it then means is that there's an onus on us to provide quality trainers. Quality trainers because the focus is on producing highly skilled technicians. It hasn't been easy, which is true, but in order to have that, it means that we must have qualified teachers. As a state, even in the secondary schools alone, you can't have just any teacher coming in. Lagos State has one of the highest qualified trainers, whether it's secondary school, whether it's technical and vocational, because we have that opportunity in terms of choosing. Many people want to come, so that gives us that choice of bringing in qualified trainers. And in the technical and vocational space, because of the partnerships that we also have that opportunity to link in with partners who train our trainers for added quality. We also have some, for example, I know about 35 of our instructors 2 years ago went to Germany for different extra training opportunities for them. And because their salary as well is very structured, and you know where you are going in terms of rising up, it is very, very attractive for them to come to the government instead really of staying outside in terms of the private sector. The private sector, you know, you don't really know how your salary is going to go. But in the government sector, you know, because there is a structure that is really attached to it. Now, having said that, I think there's a thing that we need to look at, that in Nigeria today, and in terms of all the millions and millions of training that all of us together, whether it's the private, whether it's the public, is that there is an issue in terms of trainers. Generally, there is. And so it just means that we ourselves have to start doing something about it. Instead of us focusing just on training the trainees, constantly training the trainees, we forget that the existing trainers themselves are getting old and they are retiring. So it means we have to start looking at how do we attract more trainers and build them up to become competent, to be able to train those people that we want to train. Because what is happening now is that the pool of trainers that we have been there for a long time. And so you have to constantly retrain and retrain them, not only for what we're doing now, but also for all the future requirements. And when we talk about future requirements, there's various skills at the moment that we have not even started to talk about, that we have not even started to think about. And because of that, there is a need to train more trainers. And I'll give you an example of that, just simple example of it. I think it was several months ago. In the newspaper, it was mentioned that Dangote brought in 11,000 foreigners to work in the refinery. And his refinery is the largest, one of the largest in the world, that will contribute probably about 20 billion or so per year. So you can see the huge investment in that and the huge opportunities in that. Now imagine 11,000 that was brought in. And the question really is, where were we as a nation, as private sector, when 11,000 were being prepared? And so the thing for us is that he started, think about it, he announced officially in 2013 that he's going to develop this biggest refinery in the world. And I think for us as a nation, we should have been looking at, oh, this is going to amount to lots and lots of work, lots and lots of trainers, lots and lots of opportunities for our young people. But we did not prepare. If we say he started in 2013, that was 9 years ago. All the skills that he required, we could easily have trained them in such a way that he would not need to have brought in 11,000 people. Even if he brought in 2,000 or whatever, we would have still got at least 8,000, 9,000. So the question constantly for us is when we are doing this, is the need for us, whether you are private, whether you are public, we need to start planning and having data. Planning and having data. Dangote, you are going to be doing all these things. What kind of skills do you need? And we are starting to look at, do we have enough trainers? Do we have enough laboratories? Do we have enough technicians? Do we need to send some people abroad and come back and train some? What are the specific skills that you require? And we now do that. I think those kind of things are missing when we are talking about limited instructors and the amount of funding or so. It is a national issue around trainers, and we have to start looking at trainers. You are all lucky at the moment you've got your training and you are going to leave. But the question is, are any of you who are already graduates and you have got the skills, are you also prepared to join and become instructors and add to the pool so that we can get good quality instructors? Are you passionate about becoming instructors or training the trainers as well? So it's not really about everybody going into industry, everybody starting up their business. But are they also having that passion as well, all the commitment or the drive to encourage them to go and fill those gaps in terms of instructors? Because very soon there'll be limited instructors, and when there's limited instructors, there'll be limited number of people that we can train. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that passionate comment, Mrs. Adi. So how many of you here are thinking about becoming future trainers? Raise up your hand. Okay, you've won over quite a number of people, man. Well done. Engineer Kaitaba, would you like to comment on this as well?
Yes, please. I'd like to add to this. When I spoke earlier, I said that Construction Kaiser, along with Kaiser Foundation, started a graduate entrepreneurship scheme where we train people to start their own businesses. And at the end of the day, they will have a multiplier effect and also employ people. So we're talking about training artisans. We need to also train entrepreneurs. You see, I read a story of Etearo and Partners. The man, Engineer Ete, turned 80 some years ago, maybe 10 years ago. He did a video. He told the story of how Ovearop and Partners gave birth to Etearo and Partners. That's the second civil engineering design firm in Nigeria. They were founded maybe 1959, 1960, something like that. So one company gave birth to another company, and those two companies, they still coexist in Nigeria, and they're doing business. So my question to the bigger companies, how many of them have given birth to smaller companies that will employ people? Because my father was an engineer. He used to tell me, he said, unless you train the engineers, you cannot retire. So you must train people to replace you. So it's a no-brainer. And I think companies need to be more deliberate about that today. Thank you.
Fantastic. Very well said. Thank you, sir. Sir, let me just stay with you just 1 second. You want to say something?
Yes, on the issue of trainers, it's even honestly for the public sector, it's in a very bad shape for TVET institutions. Very, very bad shape. Like you rightly said, the entry mode for most of these trainers is the fact that you probably have an NC education in metalworks, a first degree, with education in metalworks, and you've never seen a lathe machine before, even when you were in school, and you're coming now to teach hands-on to young kids, about how to produce metals and all that. So it's so terribly bad, and that's another another phase where Tularam can look at. I know you're doing very well with the youth. Probably we can also look at how we can enhance the level of trainers in most of these public institutions, or else we will not get the kind of products that we require really. You're partnering with private institutions now, quality trainers in those private institutions because of the mode of recruitment and remuneration and all that. But like you said also, I mean, the remuneration is very low. Stability in employment, that's what is keeping most of the trainers there. So I think it's important for us to see what we can do also in that sector with regards to trainers.
I just want to contribute. So for us at OSC, when we train the students, we retain the very best and train them to become trainers. Because like he said, our major, one of our other companies is a manufacturing company. So we have a garment factory. We just even expanded it to 6,000 pieces per day factory. So it's a massive factory. And we realized that the kind of skill we need is not in Nigeria. So as far back as 2004, that company birthed the training school. We realized that we had to train people to understand the international standards. And while praying and looking for who would be able to afford to help subsidize how much it costs to train people, Ishk came along, even though they had no idea that I was somewhere praying that, a sponsor should come, because we realized that a lot of the people could not afford to pay for the school fees and what it really takes to train a highly skilled fashion designer or computer aided garment manufacturer, because it's manufacturing actually that we do. So when we started the school, we saw that there were no teachers, like she said, who understood that international level. It's not a tailor that would teach in our school. So we had to teach the students, and then we started a train the trainer program where we teach them how to train others. And to my pleasant surprise, within a very short time, they can even handle the school even without me, which ensures that we can focus on the core issues that the company needs. So I'm saying that not only should we train teachers and make sure that all our graduates are able to pass on the skill that they have, they should also be recognized. So what I mean is, if you have done a 6-month course in construction, you've done it in fashion or whatever the vocation is, and you have that certificate to apply at another school and say, I want to apply as a teacher, they usually tell them to go and bring either BSc or a teacher training, which is not what is needed what is needed to train other people on what the market needs. Because we realize that all those who went to the various fashion schools or Nigerian universities or polytechnics, I don't want to mention a specific name, they don't even know anything. They don't know what our own students know. So I'm saying, in addition to all what has been said, the training that comes out from either private or vocational training schools should be recognized, should be the experience they've also gone out to do. So if they've gone out to work for a year, there should be a way that all that could be accredited or accounted for, as it's enough to be a trainer. So I don't know, Ma, if any of these students, if they come to apply with just 3 months training, you would say it's enough for them to become a trainer. That's what I mean. I don't know if there's any existing.
I hear you in terms of saying, somebody comes, does 3 months plumbing, and then you now decide the person can become a trainer. Well, we have to be very careful because the, there are everybody did not come in the same. There are some people that came in as graduates already and want to do 3 months top up. There are some that unfortunately missed their basic education. And it is that basic education and a little bit of how to train people that is also required with that 3 months or 6 months skill. Because we have to also be careful, I don't know, internationally as well. Internationally as well, you just don't say you have 3 months and then you just go into the classroom. There has to be some requisite qualification that also makes you a trainer. Now, in the industry, from my own experience, you've done your training, you've gone to industry, you have been exposed, you've worked, you are experienced in what you are doing. Of course, when you come back to the classroom, you have a wealth of experience that you can really bring in to those students. Now, if they come into us, we would definitely expect them to do some teacher training. Some teacher training must be, because we need the quality of the students, of the training. Yes, yes. And there are different trainer courses that they could get into. It's because training too and teachers, it's a skill as well. And I mean, if it was the teachers council sitting here, they'll be aghast and say, you just mean that somebody will do through and just come and train, I just become a teacher like that. So everybody, they all have, their own requisite qualification and so on. It's just like an engineer. You can't do 3 months plumbing and say you are an engineer. The engineers will say, no way, no way. They'll say, no way. So that's just, just everybody together like that.
Yeah, we kind of lost you towards the end, but I think we get the general gist of what you're saying. So time is fast running out. I don't know if there are any questions oh, nice. We already have one. Okay, so please could you help us over here?
Please, if you have questions, can you just quickly come forward, please? Let's quickly take it one straight. Can you come forward so we can take it? Yes. Please come this way. You tell us your name, your genotype. Sorry, your name and quickly your name.
My name is Oyin.
The question.
Okay. Actually, I have a lot of questions.
You have a lot of questions, but please ask one quickly.
Okay. We will be talking about qualification, like a major qualification for the major qualification for the vocational training and all those stuff. So I was just thinking, if we should say there should be a major a major certificate or probably a qualification certificate for, though she talked about it, for vocational trainers and all those stuff. What about, should I say the older ones, like people that are into it from the onset that don't even have a basic knowledge of any, how will I put it now, any qualification? For example, after our training and everything, I went further to, go further and learn from all those old mans and all those things. The truth about it is that they are highly professional, very, very professional, but they don't have the qualification to train others. So in this, this stage, how can we help them out? Because the truth about it is that I was doing a work and someone asked me, who taught you that? I was like, it's just someone, like, they are not recognized. So is there any way we can actually help them out, to help us and also to help people that are also coming? Thank you.
Mr. James, do you want to take that? Is that so? Basically, I guess what he's asking is for people who have learned their trade through informal pathways, right? Is there a way to transition them somewhat to the formal sector so that they can get qualifications and recognition and all
Yeah,
that?
I think let me just quickly. That's a very good question. There's what is called recognition of prior learning. Recognition of prior learning, RPL, and it's under the NSQ framework, National Skills Qualification Framework. So for artisans, for those who are in the informal sector, in fact, we're promoting that vigorously now because we're trying to formalize the informal sector. We have recognized the
Yes,
fact
national skills
that the kind of
qualification
leap
framework.
that we require, actually, we can only get it from the informal sector because we're about 85% informal sector practices in this country. Because all of you, the youth, you are jackpying. So if we want to jackpot, we are still left with our artisans in the informal sector that will support the economy. So we have that. Your recognition of prior learning, very easy. You know, you are assessed, your portfolios are looked at, whatever you're doing, and you're put in the relevant level. NSQ 3, 2, 1, or whatever it is. And it's global. So it gives you that mobility. You can move from one part of the world to the other. So we have that.
Sir, I think he has a contribution too. Did you understand? Maybe we should give the mic to Mrs. Ronke. Okay.
You understand what you've just said regarding the National Qualification Skills Framework. What it is that organizations like the foundation, the training organization here, can easily take on that kind of certification. And the certification has level 1 NSQ, level 2, level 3, level 4. And what it's saying and what Mr. Gaspar has said is that your existing or your prior learning adds towards that qualification. There's a curriculum in place and there are assessors that will assess you and will say to you, you meet NSQ level 1 or you meet NSQ level 2, and that becomes a certification for you. So what it does is it's really to your own advantage. People that don't have qualification or certification before, you can start with this because you can now say, I know how to do this. And it is your practical experience that will be used to judge and to mark you and to assess you in terms of which level. And it also has flexibility. You can go to work, come back again, and continue the NSQF until you get to the whatever level that you want to get to. But that's another whole program in itself to discuss.
Thank you.
And just one point in addition, NSQF. Fine. There are companies that even require you to have that. And depending on the level you have, they now want to know how to place you. I remember very well, one of my friends in the UAC was the training manager. He specifically asked me, please look for people that have this extra qualification that have gone through it's an exam. You have to write the exam to qualify. Is that not so much? From one, practicals. Yes, you do practicals and they will examine you. And that is in addition to your certificate of competency. So it's not that before you can even start to write for that exam, you must have been trained. So it's additional qualification. And again, for us in the ITF, we have a scheme we call Train the Trainers. It's for artisans, roadside artisans. We try to bring them up to speed with latest information and technology. So you can see if organizer, for example, all he knows what to do is just to pump your tire. But he does not have the modern tools to know what exactly is supposed to be the gauge. So such people, we train them too. We call it train the trainers. Yes. We train them, we bring them up to speed to modern technology and modern techniques of doing their work. We do that very well in ITF. And so we also further give them certification for that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. So this has been a very enlightening session. Right before we go, we have just how many questions?
Just two of them. I think we'll just leave
One
the two.
or two?
Okay, they will come together to agree on the question and then
No,
they
no,
will.
it's fine. I mean, if there's time, we can take them.
So my question is, I think I'm directing it to Mrs. Aziz. Like you said, that the LSATEVB, they are into vocational training and all of that. So you mentioned about getting more trainers or more qualified trainers. We are all aware, we are very much aware that the public sector, they are very, very unfair when it comes to employing personnel. For example, the public sector is very much interested in a BSc holder compared to an HAD holder. I'm very, very, very aware that if you are employing a BSc holder and an HND holder, a BSc holder will be placed at a higher level compared to an HAD holder. Maybe a BSc holder can start, they will start him from level 8 or I don't know, then an HND holder will be at level 7. How can the government, how can they balance this situation?
My name is Adeosun Oluwatobiloba. Thank you for the lecture. You talked about giving back to the community. By the grace of God, I'm a serving corper in Bayelsa State, where my PPA. I noticed that there is no tailoring. In fact, the place is so remote that you have to be on water for close to 2 hours. So the standard of living of those people, they are very, very low. So I don't know how the government, the private sector, each can come in there. Because I noticed that most of these opportunities, they are in Lagos, Ogun State, just southwest. I don't know how they can help these people. Because the people are really, let me not just say, but things are really happening.
So my question is that she said learning a skill, maybe plumbing, carpentry, electrical. I've not qualified it yet as an engineer. Why is that? Why not train you as an engineer? Why do you qualify you as an engineer? Because
Why?
the
Sorry.
basic things I've observed on site that engineer on site is to instruct the skilled agency that is on site, do this, do that.
My brother, you are in old Nigeria, old. You are interested in title. You want to be called engineer. Would that
certified?
Would that put food on your table? You know what the Americans say? Worship anything that will put food on your table. Ask him, how many engineers are still running consultancy services? How many? Most architects, most engineers, they are doing other jobs. They are into plumbing already. Very many engineers are into plumbing, electricals. You know, I'm just trying to say the classification. You want title. You want to become an engineer. Yeah. There's no problem about that. Go to engineering school. But that will not put food on your table. That's what we're saying.
Ms. Ronke, would like to add something to
let me answer.
Okay, yes.
So,
Are you a graduate?
okay,
SSC, he has SSC.
okay.
Yes. Okay.
Hello.
All right.
Hello.
Please,
Let me just say. a
Just
few
let me
things.
quickly.
Sorry.
Yes.
So I'm an engineer. I've been an engineer for 35 years. I went to school to study engineering. There are things you study in school that qualify you as what? An engineer. If you are ready to do those things, be an engineer. Having said that, engineers are not necessarily the richest people. A friend of mine in Germany told me that sometimes to book for a plumber in Germany, you wait 4 months, unless an emergency. If in America, if a plumber comes to your house, 1 hour, $200.
Yes.
They have their truck, they have their tools, they are going from house to house making money. Which one do you prefer? To be carrying big title or to have money in your pocket?
You have the answer, Abby. Go and sit down.
I don't need to tell you more.
Again, to make him happy.
Hold on. Yes, hold on.
Listen.
Plumber.
Hello,
Plumber.
listen to this. Please, you are not an engineer. You are not an engineer, but you are a professional, specialized in your field of operation. Yes, be contented the fact that you are a professional.
Yes.
Please, you are not just.
Hold
you
on,
are
Mrs.
not-
Roque will say something. She's boiling.
I agree with all what you have said, but people have ambition in life, and you must not stand still. If that is your passion with your profession that you are doing at the moment, then there's a way for you, and the way there could be part-time courses for you while you are doing what you are doing. That is it.
But that alone, as a carpenter, as a plumber, you are not necessarily an engineer. Like he said, there are so many other things that will qualify you to be an engineer. Don't live in a paradise pool. Be contented with the fact that you are a professional. If you can now grow up to become an engineer by taking many other courses, please start small and grow big.
Thank you, Ma.
All right, I just want to add something. I'm going to use my line of my industry as an example. I think because we have glamorized only some certain professions, and it's made other people feel it's until I use that title before I am recognized. So, for example, in our industry, they tend to say fashion designer, and that's the only one everybody looks at, forgetting that there's a value chain. So you have the sewing machine operator, you have the pattern maker, you have the porter. It's specialized, and you can be the very head of that specialization. You can be the best plumber in the world that's highly paid and recognized than somebody else who is an engineer of a smaller level. I'm not trying to diss any other profession, but what I'm saying is you can be a professional in that skill. I know pattern makers that earn far more than the designer. So you can stay within the value chain and rise to the top of that value chain because there's a career path. In our company, for example, with the new factory we have, you can be manager, pattern maker, and you rise to become that. And you are eventually even have a process to become a director. But you have pattern making skills. It's because the companies we have in Nigeria don't really grow so big. If the companies grow really big and you have branches all over Africa, all over the world, and you are head of logistics, ahead of anything plumbing, assuming, in 10 countries, it's because we're thinking small. So let's encourage people to stay within their skill, what they really love to do, but help to chart a career path in that skill.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So that's a challenge for us to specialize, and that's a challenge for us to put value higher than title. But if you do have aspirations, please, by all means, pursue them. Is there anyone on the panel right before we go that wants to answer the question about BSc and HND and BSc? So we'll just take one response, please. And then
I
we'll
don't, the man that the banker that has a question about BSc HND. You see, this war has been on. Only God knows how many years. Okay, but things are getting better. Very, very soon, I believe you can see so many polytechnics are being converted and all that. In UK, for instance, now, you know very well, because everybody has its own role, and most polytechnics too have been converted to university and all that. So, please don't just keep on your career path. Whether if you have a HND, does not stop you from being an engineer. So you can, you know, as you go along in your career path, you can be an engineer and whatever you want to be. It's a very sad story of Nigeria, but please just keep posting along with it. Thank you.
In addition, we are all in Nigeria, and we know that the National Assembly have legislated on this. I think last year, this last National Assembly, the 9th National Assembly, HND and BSc are on the same level. It has been legislated upon. Yes. Pardon?
Sir, this is
All right.
another legislation.
That's another legislation. So thank you very much to our distinguished panelists for a most engaging session today. Thank you.